Welcome back to The Explainer. So, if you're on a quest to build a rock-solid core, but you feel like your traditional workouts are just leading you down a painful dead end, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're breaking down the absolute ultimate core strengthening solution. We are mastering the reverse crunch. Techniques, variations, and benefits. We're going to use some awesome expert-backed breakdowns to completely transform how you approach your daily ab routine. And hey, hopefully, it means a lot less grunting and grimacing on the gym floor for all of us. Let's get right to it.
Let's kick things off by validating a super common problem. Are you tired of neck pain from regular crunches? Yeah, we've all been there. It is a massive issue in the fitness world. So many of us actually dread core day, not because our abs are burning in a good way, but because our necks and lower backs are literally screaming at us. You know, traditional crunches often inadvertently trick us into pulling and yanking on our heads. That completely defeats the purpose of the exercise, and worse, it sidelines us from our actual fitness goals.
Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how we fix it. Let's compare the two. Regular crunches primarily target the top abs, but as we just talked about, they bring a super high risk of neck and upper back strain because of all that spinal flexion. On the flip side, the reverse crunch just completely flips the script. It shifts the focus entirely down to the bottom abs. And because your upper body stays relatively planted on the floor, there is virtually zero neck or upper back strain. It's a total game changer, right? You're protecting your spine while still getting an incredibly effective workout. To really get why this works so well, we gotta ground this in a little bit of anatomy. Let's talk about your hip flexors. These are the muscles responsible for lifting your legs toward your body. The reverse crunch brilliantly targets these exact muscles right alongside your rectus abdominis, which, by the way, is just a fancy scientific term for your main six-pack muscle. By teaching your body to properly transfer energy from your core down to your legs, you're building functional, interconnected strength that actually translates to better movement in your everyday life.
And building that specific kind of strength has an amazing ripple effect. The benefits go way beyond just looking good. We're talking stronger abdominals and hip flexors for sure, but crucially, it prevents back pain. Because your abdominal muscles actively support your lower back, training them acts like a built-in protective corset for your spine. Add an increased balance and vastly improved posture, and you are essentially upgrading your body's entire structural integrity with just one single exercise.
All right, moving into the action phase. Section 1, the blueprint, step-by-step guide. Let's do a clear, unhurried breakdown of the perfect reverse crunch.
Let's slow down the pace here and deliberately walk through these 5 core steps. First, lie face up with your arms at your sides, pressing those palms firmly into the floor for stability. Second, bend your knees to exactly 90 degrees and pull them inward towards your chest. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, lift your hips up off the mat. You want to think of your hips and your butt as a hinge for your thighs to swivel over. It's a very tight, controlled vertical tilt. Fourth, slowly lower your hips back down. And finally, step 5, repeat this sequence 10 to 15 times for 3 complete sets. Remember, take it slow. Quality always beats quantity.
Section 2, troubleshooting common form mistakes. Now let me ask you a quick question to help you evaluate your own habits. Are you flopping back down to the ground too fast after the lift? It's so tempting to let gravity do all the hard work, I know. But identifying those shortcuts is how we perfect our form.
Let's break down the most common pitfalls that steal tension away from your abs and look at some incredibly easy, actionable solutions. Using momentum. That's a classic mistake. The fix is to slowly count to 3 going up and count to 3 going down. It forces you to maintain control. If you're arching your lower back, simply focus on keeping your back pressed flat to the ground before you even begin the movement. And if you're rolling too far back and throwing your neck out of whack, just think about literally stomping the ceiling with your feet. It directs all that energy straight up.
I really love this quote because it paints such a vivid picture. Feel every vertebra in your spine touch the ground before your hips. Think about that for a second. It perfectly visualizes that slow, controlled return to the starting position. By consciously rolling down one vertebra at a time, you ensure your abdominal muscles lengthen properly under tension. And honestly, that time under tension is where the real muscle-building magic happens.
Okay, into the final phase. Section 3, leveling up or down, modifications and variations. Let's see how to tailor this for literally any fitness level.
Adjusting the intensity is surprisingly simple. You want to make it significantly harder? Try placing your hands flat behind your head. It removes the stability your arms were giving you. Or extend your legs straight out instead of keeping them bent.
That longer physical lever makes your abs work in absolute overdrive. But hey, if you need to scale it back while you build up baseline strength, no problem at all. Try sitting on a decline bench or even a chair. That shifts the angle and makes it quite a bit easier on your hip flexors. You completely control the intensity here.
Now, if you're ready to mix things up, let's briefly introduce 4 dynamic variations: isometric, bicycle, oblique, and fitness ball crunches. These moves can easily take the basic principles we've covered and turn your standard routine into a blistering total ab workout.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the community poll data. A whopping 55% of readers agree that bicycle crunches are the absolute most effective way to build abs. That is a striking majority. It really highlights just how incredibly popular and effective alternating those elbows to knees is for hitting both the obliques and the main abdominal muscles at the exact same time. But listen, to get those community-voted results, you need expert form. Listen to this advice from personal trainer Dean Theriot on the absolute must-dos for these variations. He says, make sure that you've got your abs flexed the whole time. Have your lower back pressed onto the floor or mat. That is the golden rule, right there. If your lower back pops up, your core disengages and you risk injury. So keep it flexed, keep it pressed tight.
Which brings us to our final takeaway. If a simple shift in technique, like swapping out those pain-inducing regular crunches for highly targeted reverse crunches, can protect your spine and build a much stronger core, well, what other workout myths are holding you back? It's a pretty provocative thought, isn't it? Take this knowledge, apply it to your next session, and maybe start questioning some of those habits you thought were the only way. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.